This call is now being recorded.
Okay, fine. So everyone, is it audible? Second. Yeah. Okay, fine. So everyone is familiar with RH criteria. Anyone who is not familiar with RH criteria, then I'll repeat for them. This is for stability analysis, right? So why for a control system they'll check the stability? Anyone? And that too, as I told, why only poles are chosen for checking the stability, not zeros, right? Anyone? Why poles are being used to check the stability, not zeros?
Poles remain same, sir. That's why.
Okay, poles remain same if you vary your internal parameters. That's why poles are chosen for checking the stability. Okay, very good. Okay, okay, now it's clear, right? Okay, fine. Okay, why the system stability is being checked? Anyone? In a control system, it will be having a transfer function. What do you mean by transfer function? I have covered in first 3 classes. What is transfer function? How it will affect the stability, and why we will only check for the poles, not for the zeros. What are the poles? That is who are in the for the transfer function. If they are present in the denominator, those things are called as poles, and which are there in the numerator, those are called as zeros, right? And one more thing. Okay, so this is and one more thing I told that you need to convert from time domain to Laplace domain, that is called as S domain, for easy calculation purpose. So for if this equation is in time domain, the calculation becomes very difficult. So for that sake, we'll convert the time domain to Laplace domain and we'll solve the equation. Later, if you want the answer in time domain, we'll again convert back to time domain, right? Okay, so as I explained, okay, I'll cover in 5-10 minutes briefly what is RH criteria. I have taught this in a class. What is RH criteria? What are the different problems on that? Okay, why only poles are being checked instead of zeros? Okay, so and stability system, which system is stable, right? It should produce for bounded input. It should produce bounded output. Like, see, suppose if you run a fan, if you increase the speed to 50 rpm or 100 rpm, so you should not go beyond that. If I run for longer time, like for infinite time, it should not instead of 500 rpm, it should not become 5000 rpm. Or see, if it becomes 5000 rpm, then what will happen? Your system start functioning bad, and the fan may go off, and it will become a bad system, right? So that's why for bounded input, it should have bounded output. If I want 50 rpm, it should exactly give me 50 rpm. If I run for even for infinite time, it should, see, if I keep at maximum speed your fan, that is they'll say that 5, right? So if I keep at maximum speed, if I run for infinite time, it should always produce 50 rpm. If it is for 50, if it is designed for 50 rpm maximum speed, it should run for 50 rpm even if I run for infinite time. So if it runs like that, then we'll say that the system is stable. Okay, so these are the example we study in your signal system also. This e power minus t, e power plus t, ramp, sinusoidal. Okay, this I have explained in last class. What is the transfer function of this, everything. So the Laplace transform of this will be 1 by s plus 1. This will be 1 by s minus 1. And this is 1 by s square. Okay, and sinusoidal it will be 1 by s square plus omega square, right? See, as you can check here, you know the basic criteria that if it is a S-plane, right? If it is a S-plane, the pole should lie on the right-hand side of S-plane. Then the system is stable, right? If it lies on imaginary axis, the system is marginally stable. If the roots lie on the right-hand side of S-plane, then the system is unstable, right? See, here it is given as unbounded output. You can check here only. See, this e power minus t, the Laplace transform is 1 by s plus 1. See, this will be your numerator will be your zeros, denominator will be your poles, right? So now if you check what will be the root for this, s is equal to minus 1 will be the root. So where your minus 1 comes? Minus 1 comes on the left hand side of your s plane, right? So it means the system is stable. So it is producing bounded output. So it is stable. Similarly, when I take the second example, e power plus t, so the Laplace transform is 1 by s minus 1. Okay, and one more thing. See, if you have take 1 or 2 sheets for solving the problem, right, it will be helpful for you. Okay, so see, the Laplace transform e power t is 1 by s minus 1. So if I take roots of this, so s is equal to 1 is the root for this transfer function. So when I plot on the s plane, it will be on the right hand side of the s plane, right? S is equal to 1 is on the right hand side of s plane. So this system is unstable. It is producing unbounded output, right? Okay, so these are the basic things. All the poles should be present. If the poles are present on the right hand side of s plane, the system is unstable. Okay, I'll be giving the link of the videos also, so that you can, if you miss something, you can go back to the video and see. And you can ask in between if you have any query. You can ask in between. Okay, so if the poles are on the left hand side of s plane, the system is stable. Sorry, and if they are present on the imaginary axis, they are marginally stable. Okay, so now you understood what is stable system. Absolute stable system, the roots should be present on left hand side of s plane. Unstable, right hand side of s plane. Conditionally or marginally stable on the imaginary axis. Okay, this is why we will choose always pole. See, when you interchange the parameters, like this is your impedance Z1 and Z2. If I consider this, when I take transfer function of the whole thing, okay, this is your voltage divider circuit. I have explained in the last class. This is your voltage divider circuit. So you will be getting that is V out by, so transfer function is output by input, right? So if I take output by input, what you will be getting? That is Z2 by Z1 plus Z2. So when I interchange the parameters of Z1 and Z2, again you will be getting the transfer function as Z1 divided by Z1 plus Z2. Here you can see that poles remain same in both the conditions. So here we will conclude that poles will decide the stability of the system. So that's why we'll choose the poles for checking the stability. Now, okay, in the last class I have covered RH criteria. Okay, so RH criteria will define absolute stability. Absolute stability means, I think it's there. Okay, so here are the things. So see, RH criteria will define the absolute stability. Absolute stability means whether the system is stable or not. That's it. It won't say by how much percentage it is stable or unstable. Like, see, for example, if I ask you, did you pass the exam? Your answer will be yes or no. That's it. Correct? So this is the example of absolute stability. It will tell whether the system is stable or not. Now coming to the relative stability. So RH criteria will tell the absolute stability of the system. Coming to the relative stability will tell whether the system is stable or not and by how much. It means relative stability will cover both absolute stability. Relative stability, if you find, it will tell absolute stability as well as by how much. Right? If I ask you, did you pass the exam and how much was your percentage? So you will say 50%. So what does 50 indicate? 50 indicates you have passed the exam. By default, we can conclude that you have passed the exam. So it means it is telling absolute stability also. And by how much? By 50%. Like basic criteria is 35% is your passing percentage. So you can conclude that 50 minus 35 is this is how the stable system is. by how much percentage? That is 50 minus 35, right? That is by 15% it is stable, right? So your root locus, Bodice plot, Nyquist chart, and okay, so these things will tell the relative stability, but RH criteria will tell absolute stability, right? So if you learn root locus or Bodice plot or Nyquist plot, you can define absolute stability also, right? So today you are going to learn about root locus, right? Okay, I'll be telling in detail. If you don't understand anything, you can stop me in between and you can ask the doubt, right? Okay, so RH criteria, I'll brush up first. RH criteria, what is it? So your characteristics equation will be given. So what is the how you will get characteristics equation? You'll be having open loop function, that is g of s. Open loop will be given with zeros and poles. So h of s will be either unity feedback. Most of the question will be having negative unity feedback, right? So when so your characteristics, what is the formula? Characteristic equation formula: 1 plus g of s into h of s is equal to 0. So this is the characteristic equation. So when you solve this, you will be getting some polynomial equation, and then you will solve the RH criteria, right? So what is the RH criteria? So see, suppose this is your characteristic equation. So when you solve 1 plus g of s into h of s is equal to 0. So when you solve, you will be getting this equation, right? So it is having 5 powers. So totally, what is okay? So whoever is present in the who was present in the last class, can you tell me what is the order of the system?
5.
Okay, 5 is the order of the system. Okay, what is the type? Can anyone tell type of the system? So type will be 0. Okay, why? Because there is no s common term, right? So this is your constant term, right? If it was 10s, then you can take s common, right? So that time s power 1 can be taken as common. So this type is 0, right? So this equation type is 0, order is 5. So now when you solve this, how you are going to solve? 1 point, like you will be writing 1, this coefficient here, next coefficient here, third one here, fourth here, fifth and sixth. How you are going to multiply? 1.5 into 2 minus 4 into 1 divided by 1.5. So 1.5 into 2, that is 3, minus 4. 1 into 4 is minus, so minus 4, 3 minus 4 divided by 1.5. So you'll be getting minus 1.6. Again, in the next class, okay, similarly, you will solving 1.5 into 5 minus 10 into 1 divided by 1.5. So you will be getting this as answer, right? The next step, see, like this, you will again solve 0.066 into 4 minus 0.66 into 1.5 divided by minus 0.66. So again, you will be getting 0.227. So like this, you will finish off. Then later what you will see, number of sign changes. Later you will see number of sign changes. How many sign changes are there here? So here plus 2 plus, no sign change. Plus 2 minus, there is one sign change here. Right? Again, minus 2 plus, there is sign change. So 2 sign changes. Again, plus 2 plus and plus 2 plus. So there are totally 2 sign changes. What does that indicate? It indicates out. Okay, if it is s power 5, how many roots will be available? If it is s power 5, there are 5 roots, right? So if there are 2 signs, as you can see in the problem, there are 2 sign changes. It indicates 2 roots are lying on our right hand side of s plane. So 2 roots are lying on right hand side of s plane. The number of sign changes will tell how many roots are lying on the right hand side of s plane. Okay, so this. Okay, so what you want finally? See if they'll ask you some other questions. Okay, this is needed in the root locus also. See what they'll give in the question. You need to find the value of k, or that the system should be stable. What is the value of k for the system to be stable? So you got to again solve it in the basic thing. First coefficient here, second here, third and fourth here, right? So after this, you need to again solve 5 into 5 minus 1 into 4 divided by 5. So you'll be getting 25 by 5. Again, you need to solve 5 into k minus 1 into 12 divided by 5. Okay, so you'll be getting the numbers, right? So now later, if you tell your system is stable, okay, what you want in your RH criteria? RH criteria, there should not be any change. There should not be any, right? So you want, see, if it is starting from positive, all the terms in the first column should be positive, right? So in order to make this s power 1 coefficient to be positive, what you will do, and this power should also be positive, k should also be positive. So it indicates k should be greater than 0, and this 84 by 5 minus 5k divided by 21 by 5 should also be greater than 0. So when you solve, you'll be getting k as 84 by 25. So k should be less than 84 by 25 and k should be greater than 0. I hope everyone is good in maths in solving greater and less than symbol, right? So this was basic thing. Okay, this you are covered in the last class. If you are getting one term as 0, you need to put as epsilon and solve the case, right? Okay, so if you are getting whole row as 0, if you are getting whole row as 0, then you need to solve as auxiliary equation. You should take the above row and you need to solve as auxiliary equation. That is when all the elements of any row is of RH criteria is 0. Okay, so this was previous gate questions we have solved. So these were previous gate questions. Now coming to the root locus. Now I think you got little bit information, basics about what is stability. Okay, what is the RH criteria, how to solve, right? Okay, anyone has any doubts here?
No, sir.
Okay, guys, only Harshita is responding. What about others? See, your attendance won't be taken, don't worry.
No doubt, sir.
No doubt. Sure. Okay, so coming to the root locus. Okay, so what the root locus technique will tell? What kind of stability?
Absolute.
Whether it is absolute stability or relative stability.
Relative stability.
Okay, it will tell relative stability. Only RH criteria will tell absolute stability. Right. So what is root locus? We'll come step by step. Okay. So see here in the root locus. Okay. So RH criteria. So what is meant by root? Root means you are having. Suppose if I tell s plus 2 into s plus 3, right? 1 divided by s plus 1 into s plus 3. So what you will be telling? The root of this is s equal to minus 2 and s equal to minus 3, right? So that is root. What do you mean by locus? Locus means path, right? Locus means path. So now here what the root locus technique tells. Suppose if I vary my any of the parameter, like basically we will vary here k. If I vary my k, how much, what should the value of k so that it will be stable? Okay, we'll be coming thoroughly step by step. So in control system, this is the graphical representation for examining how the roots of the system change in variation of system parameter. That is basically we will vary the gain. That is defined by k. That is, it means, see, suppose a system is given to 1 by s plus 2 into s plus 3. Okay, so this is simple system. We'll tell that okay, the system is stable because the roots lie on the left hand side of S plane. This root is S equal to -2 and S equal to -3. Both the roots lie on the LHS, so the system is stable. Now, the next thing is what should be the, okay, so suppose little bit I'll change into S plus 1. Now, can you tell whether system is stable or not? You can't. You can say by solving it as a characteristics equation, that is using RH criteria, 1 into G of S into H of S is equal to 0. Now suppose I'll assume when the K value was 2, the system was stable. Assume when the K value was 2, the system was stable. Now suppose if I change the value of K to 200, whether the system will remain stable. That you need to check. Is defined by the root locus. Why they are changing gain? Because see, all your amplifiers, okay, see, everything will follow control system. All your electronic circuit will follow control system. It should follow control system, right? That's why if you take resistor also, they will be provided with some value 100 ohm plus or minus some percentage, okay, and they'll be always having temperature and many other parameters, right? So always everything will follow the control system. Now, see, as you know that everyone wants more gain, right? Within the smaller circuit, everyone wants more gain. Now this K indicates your gain, right? See, suppose if I tell, this is your gain G of S. This is your input R of S and your output is C of S. So what is your gain here? Gain is your G of S, right? So now you are giving 5 volt here and you want output as 50 volt. Now what should be your gain? It should be 50 divided by 5, that is 10. 10 should be your gain, right? Now suppose now I want to transfer my voice to a larger distance, so I need to change this to 100, right? So my question is, when I change this gain to 100, whether this whole system is stable or not, right? So that is checked by the root locus. Means what should be the maximum value of K so that the system will become stable. That is the K value, right? So how the path will go, how the roots will go, right? That is defined by the root locus. Okay, so this is the graphical representation, right? So you'll be learning one by one. Here we are varying K from, that is gain from 0 to infinity, and we are checking roots, how it will vary. Okay, this I have taught under damp. For this things you don't need, right? Okay, so here comes your basics. Okay, see, you should know why we are learning RH criteria. Sorry, root locus. So RH criteria, it will give you absolute stability. Nyquist and polar plot plus root locus will give you the relative stability, right? So now, okay, so for the root locus, path of the roots of the characteristic equation you will use, right? So what you are doing, say in root locus, you are again taking the characteristic equation, that is 1 plus G of S into H of S. Now I'm finding the path for that. So that is the root locus. So in the root locus, what will be given? So OLTF. OLTF means open loop transfer function will be given like this: 1 by S plus 2, S plus 3. Okay, this is open loop transfer function. Now, with this open loop transfer function, we are checking closed loop transfer function stability, right? So now, suppose the root of your characteristic equation is 1 plus G of S into H of S is equal to 0, right? So these are also the poles of the transfer function. And here we are varying the K from 0 to less than infinity. Okay, and one more thing. Okay, so how the now we are going to draw the path of the roots, how it will go, right? So did you understand the basics of the root locus? What do you mean by root locus? It is also called as path of the your characteristic equation, how it is going to take place, right? Now, oh, I missed this slide. Okay, 1 second. Okay, sorry, this slide I had missed. Okay, fine. Now can you see? Can you see this function?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, correct. So this slide I missed. Sorry for that. See now, see if I take a function that is g of s is equal to k into s plus 1 divided by s plus 2 into s plus 3. So as you know, this is open loop transfer function. How to check whether it is open loop or closed loop? See, h of s will be unity feedback most of the case. Only they have given the gain. So this is a open loop transfer function. So when an open loop transfer function is given to you with a gain k, you don't know the k value. It varies, right? So now 1 plus, so what you will do basically, characteristic equation you will take 1 plus g of s, h of s equal to 0, and you will solve, right? So now for this equation, when you solve, what you will get? S plus 2 to s plus 3 plus k into s plus 1, right? So first thing, see, I can, if you want direct start and you can learn, but you should know little basics, right? The first thing what I will do, I'll put k as 0. See here in root loop, what you are doing, you are varying the gain from 0 to infinity, right? So here k is the gain, so you will put first case as k equal to 0. When I put first case k as 0, what I will be getting? So this whole term will become 0, and I'll be left out with s plus 2 into s plus 3 is equal to 0, right? So s is equal to minus 2 and s is equal to minus 3 will be your answer, right? So the root, as you can observe, see when I take these roots, that is here also it is s equal to minus 2 and s is equal to minus 3. And when I put k is equal to 0, again I am getting s is equal to minus 2 and s is equal to minus 3. So what does it indicate? Roots of the characteristic equation are open loop system poles. It means, see your gain is k is equal to 0, right? So I'm starting from 0 gain. So this is equal to your poles, right? This is equal to open system poles, correct? Because here also s is equal to -2 and -3 will be the roots here. And when I put k is equal to 0, again I am getting s is equal to -2 and s is equal to -3. Both the poles are same with of the characteristic equation. So it concludes that the root locus starts from poles of the open loop transfer function. The root locus starts from poles of the open loop transfer function. Similarly, second case, say if you are finding difficult, you can rewind the video later, or you can just remember like root locus start from poles of the open loop transfer function. A second case, what you want, you are varying your k till infinity. So similarly, when I put k equal to infinity in the characteristic equation, I'll put k outside. When I solve this, what I'm getting, s is equal to -1. So s is equal to -1 is the same as your zeros, right, of your open loop transfer function. So what it concludes, when k tends to infinity, we get zeros of open loop transfer function. So what does starts from poles and terminates at zeros. Understood? Okay, your root locus starts from poles and terminates at zeros. So this was the conclusion I needed. Okay, everyone understood? Is it clear? The root locus starts from zeros and terminates at, root locus starts from poles and terminates at zeros. See, in between I want acknowledgement from your side. Why? Because I need to confirm that it is audible and everything is clear. Okay. So root locus starts from poles and terminates at zeros, right? So now how your poles should be, poles and zeros, number of poles and number of zeros. See, as in the previously concluded that the root locus starts from poles and terminates at 0, right? And suppose if there are 2 poles and 1 0, so what will happen? The root locus will start from 1 pole and terminate at 1 zeros, right? So second pole is also there. It will also start, the root locus will start from poles. Where it will terminate? It can't able to terminate because there is only one infinity, right? Understood? Okay, so this is the practical cases for all your whole entire universe. Only this holds. P must be greater than or equal to 0. What is P? P is number of poles of the system open loop transfer function. Z is number of zeros of open loop transfer function. Got it? Okay, there is one more case. It is just theoretical, that is Z should be greater than poles. It means number of zeros are greater than number of poles, which is not physically possible because see what will happen if there are 2 zeros and 1 pole. What will happen from pole, the arrows, the root locus will start and it will terminate at 0. Okay, and there are 2 zeros, right? So second 0 will come, but there is no termination. This will start from infinity. Your roots will start from infinity path. So this is not practically possible. Okay, now there was a case that if there are 2 poles, and 1 zeros, right? So what will happen? 1 pole will be there. It will terminate at 1 zeros. There is one more pole, right? There are 2 poles. It means like the case s plus 2 into s plus 3, and in the numerator you are having s plus 1. So what you can say, there are totally 1 pole and 1 zero and 2 poles. This is the example, 2 poles and 1 zero. So what will happen? Your root locus from poles to zeros it will go. So this got terminated. Your root locus got terminated because it started from pole and ended at 0. But now there is one more pole, right? See, it is starting, but there is no 0 available because there is only 1 0. So this will terminate at infinity. Okay, you will be a bit clear when you are solving problem. Okay, see, since, I think you might have learned in your control system thoroughly, right? So now the next thing is how the path of this pole should be, how the path of this pole should go, because it is going to infinity. So that is solved by using asymptotic line. What is asymptotic line? It is a tangent graph at infinite. Okay, it means, see, if a pole, see this root locus, I should solve one problem. Okay, you'll be a bit thorough when you're solving problem. What is asymptotic line? It's a line which touches the graph at infinite. Okay, whether you see Math's definition or anything, asymptotic definition remains same. It is a tangent which touches the graph. What is the graph here? Graph is root locus. So tangent which touches the root locus at infinite. So root locus which terminate at infinites follow the asymptotic line. Means what will be the path? There is one extra pole which is, it should go to infinite, right? How the path should be? Somebody should direct at least. So that direction is given by the asymptotic line. So basic, we will draw one root locus. Okay, I think you will be also thorough with that. So if you have pen and paper, you can solve. This is the basic problem of root locus. Okay, steps to draw the root locus. First, you should draw pole zero plot. Pole zero plot means, see, I had given example of one s plus 1 into s plus 2 into s plus 3, right? So pole zero plot means you need to plot the poles and zeros. So your poles is at -2 and one more pole is at -3, and there is 0 at -1. So 0 you will be representing by a circle, dot and circle, and poles you are representing with a cross mark. That is the standard notation. And as you know, root locus start from poles. Open loop transfer function at k equal to 0 and ends at zeros at k equal to infinite. And number of starting poles are greater than the termination point. Okay, and how many branches will be formed? Branches. Okay, so we'll solve a little bit problem. Okay, so everyone can see this question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, in between you should say yes, no, some. Okay, everyone is present. So now see when this is given, right? So what is given? This is your open loop transfer function. Everyone agrees, and they are given negative feedback. Indicates h of s is equal to 1 unity negative feedback, right? So this is negative feedback. Now, see, a pole zero plot you need to draw. So how to draw pole zero plot? Real axis, sorry, S plane, real here and imaginary at this side. So where are the roots available? What is the what is the poles? What are the
Minus
-1
1
and -3.
-1 and -3. So -1 will be here and -3 will be here, right? So now clear pole zero plot. Okay, now I need to plot 0 also. So 0 is at -2. So -2 will come in between here. Correct? Now, this was the first step to draw the polar diagram. Sorry, root locus. Next thing, what you have studied in as a next step, root locus will start from pole and terminate at 0. Now, the next question is how to check where the root locus starts. So in that case, you need to check number of poles on the right hand side. See, now if I am checking this area, that is, this is, what is the value? -2. Now I am checking this area, that is -2 to 1. Now when I close this, how many roots are there on the, okay, this area? Okay, this area, if I select, how many zeros and poles are there? Can I count? So only this is visible, correct? When I check this area, this is visible, correct? So totally
Yes, sir.
one pole is present. Okay, everyone is understanding or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, see, if you're not understand, I'll remind one thing, because see, if you learn one problem, you can solve n number of problems. So I'm going it bit slow. Okay, see, this is the thing. See where the root locus should lie. See, in the question it is given as negative feedback. So area on the right hand side, what is P plus Z should be equal to odd. What is P here? P is number of, what is P? P is the total number of poles and Z is total number of zeros. So when I'm checking negative feedback, area on the right hand side, okay, P plus Z should be odd number. If it is a positive feedback, it should be an even number. See, positive feedback, 99% cases they won't give. If you give, the system will become unstable. Okay, so you need to give negative feedback. So what is the conclusion? Or if you are checking area where the root locus should lie, your number of poles plus number of zeros must be equal to odd, right hand side. So here when I am checking, so when I'm checking how many roots are there on the right hand side. See now when I'm checking this part in between -1 and -2, this area I want to check. So when I check this area, as you can see, this is the pole which is on the right hand side of this area, correct? So how many poles are there? 1. How many zeros are there? There is no zeros, right? So totally 1 pole plus 0 combination is there, right? So totally 1 is odd number. So the root locus lie here. Okay. So when I come to this part. So when I close this, how many roots, how many 0 and poles are there? So this is the 1 0 and this is 1 pole. So totally how much it will become? 1 plus 1. That is number of poles is 1. Number of 0 is also 1. So totally it became 2. So 2 is a even number. So root locus won't lie. Now coming to the third part of your, this part. Now when you keep this, how many poles are there on the right hand side? And I check this area after -3. How many poles are there on the right hand side of this? Totally 3. So totally 2 poles and 1 0, right? So here is 1 pole, here is another pole and 1 more 0. Totally how much is the count? 3. So root locus lie here. So where the root locus lie finally? In between -1 and 2 and -3. I hope it's clear. Anyone has any doubts here?
No, sir.
Okay, others. Nishal,
No, sir.
Shamini.
No, sir. Not understood.
Understood, right? So now the next thing is what should be the path of root locus? Okay, now you are done this. I hope it is clear that where the root locus lies. Now, as you have studied, as I explained, the root locus always starts from pole and terminate at 0. So this is your pole. So it will terminate at 0. Sorry, it will terminate at pole and terminate. It starts from pole and terminate at 0. Okay, so it starts from pole. So it is starting from -1 and terminating at -2. And in between, there is no root locus, right? And here, there is one more root locus. Now, there is one pole here. So as you know, root locus starts from pole. So it starts from here. So where it should go, right? It will be going till infinite. Now the question is whether this root locus can go in this direction, or it should be parallel to this. How it should go, that is decided by the asymptotic line. Now you understood what is the importance of asymptotic line. See, I think this is clear here. So here is your pole and here is your one more pole. So the root locus is here as well as here, right? So the root locus, it started from pole and terminated at 0. And here it started and it terminates at infinite. See here, how many poles are there? Poles are 2 and zeros are only 1, right? So root locus will be here. Now how this root locus should go? Either it should go like this, or it should be parallel, or at an angle 45 degree or 270 degree. That is decided by the asymptotic angle. So this is the formula. Okay. So that's why I explained this. So here till here we have come. So these, I think now you can draw the polar plot. These two steps are clear, right? So now what is the angle of asymptotic and how many asymptotic lines are required? See, now here only one is there. So your P minus Z will be 2 minus 1. So we'll be having only one asymptotic plot, asymptotic line, that is this one. How many asymptotic lines? It is equal to P minus Z. This is simple problem. So you are having direct answer as 2 minus 1. How many poles are there? 2. And how many zeros are there? 1. So we'll be getting answer as 1. It means only this is the line that is remaining. Okay. Understood? So suppose there is one more pole, one more zero at this end. What will happen? This will start from here and terminate at this point. So in that case, what will happen? There should be one more zero here, s plus 4 if I take, correct? So it will terminate at 0, that is at minus 4. Now how many asymptotic lines will come? That is P minus Z, that is 2 minus 2 as 0. Okay, so number of asymptotic lines are P minus Z. So suppose, see, if there are 4 poles and 3 zeros, can anyone tell how many asymptotic lines will come?
1, sir.
1. That is P minus Z equal to 1. Sorry, that is 4 minus 3 equal to 1. See, you can see also practically. See, there are 3 poles and 3 zeros. So 3 poles will terminate at 3 zeros. 1 pole will be pending, which will go to infinite. So this one is the answer for this. Because there are 10 poles and zeros 7. So how many asymptotic lines will come?
3.
3 asymptotic lines will come. It means 10 minus 7 will terminate at 7 and remaining 3 poles will be following the infinite. If there are 3 poles, how it should go? So your question, see here, it was only single pole. Suppose there are 3 poles. 1, 2, 3 extra. So what will happen? Again, breakaway point will come. Okay, I'll go step by step. Okay, now I hope it is clear number of asymptotic lines. The next thing is, now you have studied about asymptotic lines. Okay, so if there are two asymptotic lines are the lines which will emerge from centroid and terminate at infinite. Okay, they will meet the root locus at infinite. So what is the centroid? All the asymptotic lines will meet at a point. See, from here like this. If there are 4 asymptotic lines means P minus Z is equal to 4. It means there are totally the difference between poles and zeros are 4. So totally 4 poles are more compared to zeros, right? So it will break. It won't go in 90 degree or 180 degree. there is a formula for that, how it will go. So what is a centroid? Centroid is a point from where all the asymptotic line meet. One end they'll meet at centroid, other end it will go to infinite. Okay, so this point I need to calculate. Okay, so suppose what is the formula? That is summation of p, summation of poles minus summation of zeros divided by p minus 0. Okay, suppose this is your transfer function. What will be your poles? Can anyone tell? See, poles will be -1, -2 and -6. Got it? Poles are at -1, -2 and -6. What about zeros? Zeros are at -3 and -4. So what will be your centroid? See, centroid is formula is summation of p minus summation of zeros divided by p minus z. Right? So what is p? P is the number of poles. So summation of poles here means it is you need to add -1, -2 and -6. You should subtract with -3 and -4. Right? So that is summation of poles. That is -1, -2, -6 minus -3 -4 divided by number of poles. How many are there? 3, and number of zeros 2. You will be getting -9 plus 7 by 1. That is, you will be getting centroid as -1. So always centroid lies on x-axis. Even if the roots are complex, the centroid always lies on x-axis, because when you solve, your imaginary part will get cancelled. So always the root lies on x-axis. Now the next thing is, okay, this is the last concept. So bear with me. This is the last part. Okay, now you have calculated how many asymptotic lines should come. See at what point they meet. They meet at centroid. Now at what angle with respect to x-axis? This can be at 45 degree. The second one can be at 70 degree. Right? The third one can be at 135 degree, and the fourth one can be at 270 degree. Right? At what angle the line should break? The formula, that is angle of asymptote. Angle at which asymptote from the x-axis. That is 2n plus 1 into 180 by p minus z. 2n plus 1 into 180 by p minus z. That is, it starts from n equal to 0 till p minus z minus 1. Okay, so shall we start with the problem, and one more is breakaway point. Okay, first we'll solve one problem, then we'll come to breakaway point. I hope it is clear now. Anyone has any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, where is Vismaya, Tushar, Uday? Today
Yes,
you are
sir.
mute.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Listening, sir.
Okay, listening. Very good. Okay, see, if you have pen and paper, you write down this formula. See, pole zero plot, you can draw. This is correct. Okay, asymptotic lines also, no need. See, you write down the formula for centroid. Okay, you write down the formula for centroid. It is summation of poles minus summation of 0 by p minus 0. Copied? You written down formula?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, whoever has attended my last class, you'll be knowing why I'll make you to write formulas, so that it will be pretty easy for you. You will not have to refer again. You will not have to break your head. See, once you can see the formula and solve the problem, no issue. Later, when you practice some 10-15 problems, the formula will be automatically in your brain. No need to mug up. The next thing is asymptotic angle. This you need to write. you need to write the value for n also. N varies from 0 to p minus z minus 1. Done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is done. So what is p minus z? That is number of asymptotic line. Okay, so this is your first problem. I think we have solved. Okay. That is g of s into h of s is equal to k into s plus 2 divided by s plus 1 into s plus 3. And there is negative feedback. Negative feedback, in negative unity feedback is given. It means h of s is equal to 1. Now, you can draw the root locus. Okay, can you draw it on your sheet of paper? It's not like I am solving here. You are the one who has to write the GATE exam, right? See now, so pole zero plot. First step is you need to draw pole zero plot. That is first, where is your pole? It is at -1, and one more pole is at -3, and the 0 is at -2. I hope till here it is clear. Now, what is the next step? You need to draw the root locus. How the root locus? It starts from poles and terminates at zeros. So first I'll check for this area. First I'll check for this area. Any root locus is present here. See, when I see this area, right hand side of this, there are no roots, neither zeros. So the number will become 0. Okay, it is not a odd number. The 0 is treated as even number. Okay, so it is not a odd number. So here there is no root locus. Now I come to this part. Okay, so there is one pole which is lying on the right hand side of this area, right? So one is odd number, so the root locus lie here. Now when I consider this area, that is 3 to -2, so this area, when I consider this part, you can see that there is 1 0 plus 1 pole, right? So p plus z, when I do, that is number of poles on the right hand side of that area is 1 pole and 1 0, so it will become 2. So the number of, 2 is a even number, not odd. So the root locus is not present here. So when I come back at this end, you can see that there are 2 poles and 1 0, right? So 2 poles and 1 0 is equal to 2 plus 1 is 3. So the root locus lie at this end. See, as you can see in the diagram, so one root locus is at this end and other root locus is at this end. Now the next question is how the root locus should proceed. Okay, so you can see that root locus is here as well as it is going at this end, right? Now from here, how the root locus should proceed. Okay, this is thorough, right? It started from pole and terminated 0. But here it is starting at pole, but where it should go, it doesn't know, right? So there comes the at what angle it should go, your asymptotic line. So this will be meeting, as you have seen the asymptotic line, this line will meet the root locus at infinite, right? So how many asymptotic lines are there? That is p minus z. So p minus z is 2 minus 1 is equal to 1, right? So next is at what angle it should go. So it should go at 2n plus 1 into 180 degree by p minus z. So as you know, n starts from 0, 1, 2 till p minus z minus 1. So how much is p minus z? P minus z is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. So only one value is there for n, right? So when you solve it, you will get 180 degree divided by 1. So only 180 degree, right? So it means From here, it will be going parallel, means both get synchronized. 180 degree with respect to your real axis. See, when I draw, this is 180 degree, right? From this end, it is 180 degree. So those both will go synchronous to each other. So this will go to infinite and meet. Okay, understood? Okay, any doubts still here?
No, sir.
No doubts, right? So can you solve one problem? Which one? Can you solve and tell me? It is k into s plus 1 divided by s plus 2 into s plus 3 into s plus 4. See, you're doing it after a long time, so you may feel it little bit difficult to understand. Once if you solve some 3-4 problems, it will be pretty easy for you. So see, if you want, you can directly plot the root locus. No need to write down the steps. See, where is your first pole is at -2, and second pole is at -3, and the third pole is at -4, and 0 is at -1, right? So till here everyone is thorough, right? So the next thing is, now when I check this area, right hand side of -1, there is no pole, no 0, so there won't be any root locus. So when I see the left hand, when I see this in between -2 and -1, so when I check this, you can see that 1 0 is present right side of this area. So here root locus is present because 1 is a odd number. Now when I check this area in between -2 and -3, right, in between -2 and -3, so suppose I'm checking this area, right, -2 and -3, it means there is one pole is present and 1 0. So when I add 1 plus 1, it will become 2. So there is no root locus in between -3. Got it? Now when I check this area, -3 and -4, so we count how many poles and zeros are there. It is -2 and -1, right? So totally combination of poles and zero is 3, right? So the root locus is present in between -3 and -4, right? So as you can see, now you need to give direction for your root locus. As you from poles and terminate at zeros, right? So here the root locus will start from -2 and end at 0. Now what about this root locus that is present in between -3 and -4? So this root locus, in between it is dying, right? See, here also it will terminate and this side also it will terminate. Now where it will go? It should break. In between it should break somewhere, right? Everyone agrees here because both are poles. Nowhere it can terminate. So root locus should break. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Breakaway point. In between it is breaking, so that is defined by breakaway point. If see in this case there are two poles, so breakaway point will come. That point is called as breakaway point. If suppose instead of poles, instead of two poles there are two zeros, then it is called as break-in point. Got it? So how to find your breakaway point? You should write down the characteristic equation and you should do dk by ds. You need to do differentiation of dk by ds and you need to equate to 0. Okay. Now what about centroid? So where centroid will come?
-4, sir.
Okay, it will come at -4. That is total number of poles are 3, zeros are 1, poles are -2, -3, -4, and is equal to -1. So I am solving this slowly because if you solve one problem, you can do any number of problems. Right? Same procedure holds for all the problems, right? So there are basically two types. Okay, this is one type, and another one, the breakaway point will be touching the imaginary axis like this. So then they'll ask you what is the value for these two. The root locus touching the imaginary axis, what is the value for this? So that is the second part. So this is the first part. Okay, so how many asymptotic lines? There are totally two. What are asymptotic lines? See, from here, how many ways it will go? One is this way and another one is this way. It will go in two directions because there are two poles, right? So one will be going in this direction, other will be going in this direction. So totally there will be two asymptotic lines. So centroid is at -4, and at what angle it should go? Means at what angle it should break, right? So when you solve the angle of asymptote, it is n is equal to 0 and 1. Only two values will be there. Why? Because p minus z minus 1. P minus z is 3 minus 1 minus 1. Right? So it will be equal to 1. So the value varies from 0 to 1. So when you solve, you will be getting 180 by 2 and 3 into 180 by 2. So the angles will be 90 degree and 270 degree. Understood till here? Any doubts here?
No,
doubts,
sir.
right? Okay. So the next part. So breakaway point. Okay. So can you find breakaway point for this? See whether breakaway point exists or not for this, right? So when I do the pole zero plot, where is poles present? One is present at -2 and other is present at -4. So now where the root locus will be present? See here it won't be present. Right side of this is not, no poles, no zero, so it won't be there. So if I take this area, this part, you can check there is one root there is one pole which is right hand side of this. So here the total count will become 1. So root locus exists here. Now, so from here also, from -4 also the root locus starts, and from -2 also root locus starts. So now this will break. Okay, so this will break. So at what angle it will break, that is defined by your phi. That is 2n minus 1 into this 2n plus 1 into 180 by p minus z will define the angle. So can you tell me at what angle it will break? The root locus, at what angle it will break?
$90 and 270, sir.
Okay, it will break at 90 and 270. Very good. It will break at 90 and 270. So now what about the centroid point? Centroid, summation of poles minus summation of zeros by p minus z.
-3, sir.
Okay, so it is -3. Right? So what say now you found centroid as -3 and angle as 90 and 270. Correct? Okay. Now the next thing is, now it is breaking. Now how to draw chart for this? You know, centroid is at -3. -3 means in between these two. Correct? This is centroid. Centroid is a point where all the asymptotic lines meet. Right? From the definition of centroid, all the asymptotic lines meet. So asymptotic lines, what is the angle? One is 90 and another one is 270. So if I consider from this way, so 90 degree is this one and 270 is this, right? So this is 90 and this one will be 270, correct?
Sir, centroid is -3, sir. How?
Minus 3.
So
Minus.
summation of poles will be minus 9, no, sir?
How? What will be only 2 are there, no? Minus 3 and minus 4.
Okay. Sorry. I was seeing the other one. Sorry, sir.
Okay, so we'll be getting, I hope you got angle as 90 and 270, and centroid will be minus 3. That is minus 2, minus 4. There is no 0, so it will be by 2, so it will be minus 3. Correct? Now, okay. So I need to solve, I'll use this part only. Okay, so where you are seeing, okay, this is your minus 2 and the other one is at minus 4. Okay, and your centroid was at minus 3 and the angle was 90 and 270, correct? Okay, the next thing is you need to draw the root locus. So now, as you know, the root locus, okay, I explained root locus will be present in between these two, right? So now how it will terminate? It will terminate at breakaway point, means it will split as a breakaway point because 2 poles are there, right? So now at what angle asymptote? So how many asymptotic lines are there? That is P minus Z, that is 2 minus 0, so totally 2 asymptotic lines. At what point? At the point of centroid. Centroid is a point where asymptotic lines meet. So one end I'll keep it as at centroid, other end of the asymptotic lines I'll be keeping it infinite point. So at minus 3 I'll be drawing the asymptotic line, this one and this one. Why only at these two angles? Because this is 90 degree from here and this line below one is 270 degree from the real axis, right? So I solved 90 and 270, both the values are done. Now how the root locus will proceed? This is asymptotic line. Now your root locus always will be moving parallel, almost near parallel to your asymptotic line, and it will meet at infinite. Like this you can draw. If from here it is going and it will go like this, and the other one like this, but it both will meet at infinite point. Understood the root locus now? Okay, what about stability? Can anyone comment on stability? Okay, fine. Later we'll see.
Sir,
Okay.
can it be the other way around? Like the right side one goes on top and the left.
Both, anything is fine. But both, but only concern is both will go complementary, not at one side.
Yes.
Okay, both should be either first quadrant or third, or second or fourth. Okay. So now the next thing is you are learning this much. You can see the problem in the gate, how they last. You can finish in 2 minutes. Okay, now the next thing is what about the K value? Okay, so what you need to do for K, for finding the breakaway point, that split point. Okay, it was coinciding with centroid, s equal to minus 3. Centroid is also at minus 3, right? Okay, so so here breakaway point is at minus 3, right? That's why your break happens at centroid as well as this. So centroid is the point where asymptotic lines meet. Okay, so this both will going close to each other. Okay, so what will be the value of K? Okay. So okay, see, if you want to find the value of K for the stable system, you should take the magnitude of this and put the value of this s equal to minus 3. So what I mean to say is, if I want to find what is the value of K for stable system, okay, So now, see, for the open loop, you should put s equal mod equal to 1. This you are studying in the Nyquist plot. Okay, this rule. Why we are taking a mod of g of s into h of s is equal to 1. You'll be studying in your there in the Nyquist plot. Okay, so you need to take magnitude and you need to put value of s as -3. So substitute s equal to -3 here. So it will become -3 plus 2 into -3 plus 4, right? So you'll be getting k divided by, it will be -1 is equal to 1. So since it is mod, so k will become as 1. Got it? See, most of the questions will be asked this because nowadays they are combining root locus, Nyquist plot, polar plot. All the three things will be combined, and they're combining with RH criteria also. You'll see the problem, then you'll understand. Okay, I hope this is clear. So this is written in theory. Whatever I have taught till now, it is written in theory. What is breakaway, breaking point, dk by ds equal to 0, you need to solve. Centroid, sum of real parts and sum of the real parts of the zeros. Okay, so this is your problem. So this is the root locus. Okay, so can you quickly solve this problem? So after this, we will be starting gate problems. Okay, hardly you should take 2 minutes to solve. No need to write any description. You need to solve directly all the stuffs, and you need to parallelly plot onto the polar plot. Okay, so totally there are no zeros. So number of zeros is 0 and number of poles equal to 4. So asymptotic lines is equal to 4. So you can follow the steps in any way you want. Okay, so number of asymptotic lines, that is totally 4 branches will be there. That is p minus z. And you can find the angle. So at what angle they are splitting? 45, 135, 225 and 315. So what is the centroid value? Centroid we are getting at -1. And there are 3 breakaway points. Okay, can you see? Okay, if you see, I'll show you visually here only. All the 4 are poles, right? So one is present at 0, other is present at -1, other is present at -2, and last one is present at -3. So as you can see, there won't be any root locus on the this side no root locus. What about this side? There will be one root locus here, correct? There will be one root locus because number of poles is 1 here. So when I take this part, there is no root locus because there are 2 poles here. Here there is one more root locus. Now as you know, root locus starts from poles and terminates at 0. So here it will start and this pole will also start, it will break. And here this will also start and this will also break. Correct? So totally how many breakaway points? Total 2 breakaway points. I think one more should come. Correct. Okay, so there are totally 2 breakaway points, right? One is at this point and another one is this point. But here you got 3 breakaway points. Okay, everyone got till here? Or you know 2 minutes to solve this?
Done, sir.
Done? Right, so there are 3 breakaway points. According to the calculation, you are getting -1.5, -0.381 and -2.6. So when you observe, see -1.5, if you see, it is present here, somewhere near to this, correct? Here there is no root locus. It means there is no, this -1.5 is invalid. Correct? Because there is no root locus. No root locus means no breakaway point. Right? So second is your -0.381. It is in between -1 and -2. So the breakaway point is here, right? That is -0.381 is valid. Second one is -2. Third one is 1/6. So it is in between these two. So this breakaway point is also valid. Got it? Now, okay. So after this, what are the angle of asymptotes you got? One is 45, 135, 225, and 315. Right? So the angle will be going like this. So from here, centroid, what is the centroid point? Minus 1.5, right? So at minus 1.5 at this point, as you know, centroid is a point where asymptotes end. One end will terminate at centroid, other end will go to at infinity. So from your real axis at centroid, you need to take asymptote like this, because this is 45 degree, right? So this angle is 45. Another is 135. So 135 will be going like this. Third 225 will be going like this, and fourth is 315. So all four asymptotes will go from centered at 45 degree, 135 degree, 225, and 315. Till here, is it thorough? Everyone is fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay, other people, Vismaya, Uday, Tushar, Nishal, and Arvind.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir. So,
Okay.
Sir,
So
I have
now,
a doubt.
Ask.
Why don't the breakaway point occur at the perfect center? Like between -2 and -3. Why won't it occur at -2.5? Why is there a deviation between in that?
The system will vary, na? See, when you plot your means you are asking why not 2.5 minus 2.5, right?
Why not 2.5?
No, your system will, based on this k also it will vary, na? See, -2 and -3 are asking why not at -2, right? So see, when you draw your RLC circuit, RLC circuit, so you'll be getting some transfer function. Correct. So when you get transfer function, see, when you put here values, now suppose you got, what is your k value? Where is that? Like this you should solve. 1 second. See, here you got k as -3, right? dk by ds as -3. So here you are getting dk by ds as -2.6. So now you substitute -2.5. This value will be all the three values. See, it should satisfy whole control system, right? See, it is like, see, one person, it is like whole in an average, it should maintain the system. Now suppose one person is getting 9. See, your system was stable at 50 marks. Okay, assume that your system will become stable at 50 marks. Assume that. So suppose one person is getting 99 marks. Okay, other person is getting 80 marks. So totally there are 4 people. What about the other 2? They should score less than 50, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in that case, the system will become stable. Correct? So in the same way, when you are doing this control system, means when a control system is designed, it is make sure that, see, some part will be trying to increase the gain, some part will be trying to decrease the gain. Understood? So there won't be exactly at the center. Okay, see, here there is no value. So this might be decreasing the gain. So these two might be increasing the gain. So these things will happen. Got it? So that's why exactly at the center it won't be available, because whole system should be taken care.
Yes,
I
sir,
hope now it is a bit clear. Okay. So now, now till here it is clear. So you have understood my one was at 0, other one is at -1, other is at -2, and another one more is at -3, right? So from the asymptotic, this was a centroid. Asymptotic came at an angle 45 degree, and this was totally 135 degree. Correct? So the third one is at 225. Sorry, 225, how much? 225, and the last one was at 135 degree. Sorry, 315 degree, right? So now see, as you know, your root locus should move parallel to your asymptotes and it should meet at infinity. Both the asymptotic and the root locus will meet at infinite. Correct? So this now, when the root locus is being drawn, it is touching at imaginary axis. It is touching at imaginary axis. So what is the value of this point? The root locus touching the imaginary axis. So that is solved by using your RH criteria. So you want to make the system marginally stable, right? Correct? So at this point, you should equate to 0. If it was if you want absolutely stable, this whole thing must be greater than 0. But here it is sure that it is touching the root locus. Sorry, root locus is touching the axis, means it is marginally stable. For marginally stable, it should be equated to 0. So when you equate to 0, you'll be getting k margin as plus 10. Okay. So when this is 0 and this is 0, both are 0, then you need to solve for k. How we are solving? Using auxiliary equation. How we are taking 10s square plus 10 is equal to 0. Right? So when you solve this, s square is equal to minus 1, s is equal to plus or minus j. It means your root locus is touching the imaginary axis at plus j and minus j. What is our maximum value of 10? It is, sorry, maximum value of k is 10. So if you increase more than 10, see if you can see in the graph also. See, when you increase more than 10, what is happening to your root locus? This is the maximum value of root locus, right? So after this, if you plot your root locus, the system will become unstable. Everyone agrees? See, k value is maximum 10. You got by solving this part, right? So when you increase more than k, when you're increasing more than k, your system is becoming unstable because root locus is going to right hand side. That you can see using this equation also. See, this one, the value is 60 minus 6k by 10. Now for this, okay, so when it was equal to 0, it was marginally stable. Now what was the value of k? The k value was 10. Now instead of k as 10, I'll change it to 12. So what will happen? 60 into 12 is greater than your 60. So what you will get answer as negative. Correct? Instead of 10 as k, I'll change it to 12. What will happen? The system will become unstable because the value will be. Okay. It means, see, when this is the maximum value of k. So when I increase my k, the root locus try to shift to the right hand side of your S plane and the system will become unstable. Right? Okay, and this point is also called as for oscillation. Okay, why? See, as you can see, as you know, S is equal to sigma plus j omega, right? At this point, sigma will be 0. At the imaginary axis, sigma will be 0, right? This value, the S plane. So it will be directly j omega. So this is used for oscillations. Okay, so coming to the gate questions, I won't waste much time. So this is your question. A LTI system is given, linear time invariant. This you will study in detail in your signals and system. What is LTI system? So what is given? The transfer function open loop is connected to unity feedback configuration as shown, right? For closed loop system, the root locus in between 0, k less than infinite intersect at imaginary axis k equal to minus k equal to 1.5. It means when I draw the root locus, it is touching like this. One is that, okay, when k is, this k maximum value is, okay, it is touching here at, okay, this value maximum value. So here in the previous problem, the k value was maximum 10, right? So here the k value is maximum 1.5. Now what is asked? The closed system is stable for what is the value of your k? Okay, how many of you didn't understand the question? Raise the hand. Sorry, not raise the hand. Sorry, any doubts here? Who didn't understand the question?
Sir, can you repeat once more, sir?
Okay. So what is given? I think till here it is thorough, right? Open loop transfer function is given. Unity feedback means h of
Yes,
s is 1, right? So for a closed loop system, so from open loop, what is root locus will do? From open loop, transfer function will be given. You are checking whether closed loop system is stable or not. So root locus varies, your k will vary from 0 to infinite. Intersect the imaginary axis. Means when you draw the root locus, it is touching the imaginary axis like this. Okay, here and here, two sides. For k equal to 1.5. Now, the closed loop system is stable for. It means, see, previously when I explained, what was your k value? K value was equal to 10. Correct? This was the maximum value. Now here the k value is given as 1.5. Okay. So in this problem, in the previous problem, what is the equation? 60 minus 6k divided by 10. Okay, this was supposed to be greater than 0 for a system to be stable, right? Now the maximum value of k I can put as 10. So when I put k value as 10, this will become 60. So 60 minus 60 will become 0. It will become marginally stable, correct? So now, suppose k value is, I'll put greater than 10. What will happen to the system? If I put k value greater than 10, this whole term will become negative. Yes or no? When I put k value as greater than 10, this whole system will become negative and the system will become unstable. Correct? Now, in the same case, if I put k less than 10 but greater than 0, what will happen? If I put any value less than 10 for k, this system will always be unstable and it should be greater than 0. If I put any value less than 10 and greater than 0, this system will be stable. Correct? So the same thing they are asking here. K is given as 1.5. Now, for stable system, what should be the value? What should be the range of k? See here, what was the range? K was equal to 10, and I told that k should lie between 0 and 10 for the system to be stable. Correct? In the same way, k is given as 1.5. Now, what should the range of k for the system to be stable? Whether k should be greater than 1.5 or less than 1.5. See here I have told, no, if k is greater than 10, what will happen? It will become unstable. If it is k less than 10, greater than 0, it will become stable. Correct? In the same way, I want the value of k for which the system will become stable. How we are going to solve? Same. You need to solve by using RH criteria. Guys, you understood question now at least?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
at least no. So how we are going to solve? You will take the characteristic equation. Okay, you will be getting like this. Correct? So put the table, Ross table, that is 1 plus k, and solve. So you will be getting three values. 1 plus k. See, the whole first column should be greater than 0 in order to be stable. Correct? So what is the first equation? 1 plus k must be greater than 0. This is first condition. And what is the second condition? Minus 3 plus 2k must be greater than 0. And third condition, 2 plus 2k must be greater than 0. Right? So what should be the value of k which will satisfy all the three equations? Right? So in the first condition, you will get that k must be greater than -1, correct? See, if I put k as -1, it will become 0. If I put k as -2, it will become less than 1. So k should be greater than -1. Agreed? First condition. Any doubts here? So in the second k, your k should be what should happen to the k? See, in the third condition, k can be any value, but it should be less than, sorry, it should be greater than what will be the value? -1, right? Your k value must be greater than -1. See, if you are getting doubt, substitute the value and see. Substitute the value of k in the equation and it should be greater than 0. So when you solve, you'll be getting this k must be greater than 1.5 and k must be greater than -1. So out of these 4 options, which is correct? That is k must be greater than -1. Understood? Any doubts here? Guys, any doubts? Guys and girls, both.
No, sir.
Okay, where is Meghna? Okay. Okay, so the next problem, same thing. See now, I have taken question from 2017. See, in 2019, what they have done, they have mixed polar plot. They have mixed with Bode plot plus Nyquist plot. They have mixed with your RH criteria. Okay. So now you need to find unity feedback open loop transfer function is given. You need to find the value of k for which the system oscillates at 2 radians per second. What does oscillate means? Oscillate means your value of root locus. It is one is j equal to 2 here and another one is j equal to -2. Oscillations will come for your auxiliary equation. Where is your auxiliary equation? When the below row will become equal to 0. Okay, I'll solve in a straight way. Okay. See, when I take this, see again you are writing characteristic equation for solving k. Right? So what is given? See, oscillates means it is marginally stable. Not fully stable, not a stable system. It is marginally stable. So for marginally stable, you need to equate it to equal to 0. Correct? If it is a stable system, absolute stable system, it will be greater than 0. Marginal stable equal to 0. If it is unstable, it is less than 0. So here it is asked for oscillations. Oscillations will happen at marginally stable system, right? So 4 minus k minus 3 by k must be equal to 0. So you will get k as 3 by 4. You will be getting answer as 5. Guys, it's clear now. See, oscillation means it is marginal stable. Okay, so marginal stable, you need to equate to 0 and you will find the value of k. Can anyone solve this? Ashwini, Tushar, Uday, Vishmaya,
Yes.
Vishal. See, you are doing so much work, right? Writing assignment, those things. So you are finding less time to do this. Okay, I think by next week I'll try to put some questions in the Google Classroom. I'll give access. I'll be sharing with the previous gate problems with what are the models I have taught and some materials I'll give so that it will be benefit for you for clearing the gate exam. Okay, so next question is asked in the same way. Can you solve and tell me? The open loop transfer function is given. You need to find the value of k at the breakaway point of the feedback of root locus. Okay, so this problem is same as this. Not this. Define breakaway point. This. Missed it somewhere. So what is asked? You need to find the positive value of k at the breakaway point of the root locus. It means there are what are the roots available? I think it will be complex conjugate. Suppose it will be here and here. So if this is breaking, it may go like this or like this or like this, roots, correct? So now I should find the value of k for this feedback control system for root locus plot. I should find the positive value of k at the breakaway point. So here, first thing what you need to do, you need to take the characteristic equation. So breakaway point is coming. So you need to solve for breakaway point formula, that is dk by ds is equal to 0. Correct? So you will be getting s value. First thing, when breakaway point comes, first thing formula should come to your mind is dk by ds is equal to 0. Next, it is asking for positive value of k. What you need to do? Magnitude of g of s must be equal to 1. You need to solve and get the value of k. Okay, 3 more are there. Okay, guys, it's clear now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, someone left again. Okay. Okay, see, the next question is this one, the transfer function of a LTI system. Okay, this should be g of s. Find the number of zeros in the right hand side of the S plane. So this is your RH criteria problem. So can you tell me how many zeros are there in the right hand side of your S plane? Okay, it should be poles, not zeros. So this should be, this is not from gate paper, I took from some website which is putting the gate questions. Okay, it should be zeros. And tell me.
Sir, to do this problem, there's no other shortcut, sir. We'll have to go through that multiplication thing and only I do it and check the number of sign changes.
You can do, but here the problem is it is fourth order. Fourth order, you should know how to find roots, no? Got it? See, the question is 2s power 4, no? Got it? See, if it was like s square plus 2s plus 1, correct? Or if it was s square plus 5s plus 6. Okay. Till here you can solve. If it is second order, directly you will tell that s plus 3 and s plus 2 will be your solution. And both the roots are lying on the left hand side of S plane. So it is stable. Correct?
Yes, sir.
For second order, you can tell. Third order also you can tell using calculator. But what about fourth order? This is fourth order, no? Fourth order you should solve using RH criteria. Okay, the question is wrong. See, you can directly you can rule out two options here only. So this is wrong, this is wrong, because number of poles on RHS should be a positive number. Means it should not be in decimal, it should be a whole number. You can rule out A and B. Either it will be answer will be null or 3. See, null can't. Okay, null can be the answer, and 3 can also be the answer. If you solve, so you'll be getting the answer as 3. Okay, so number of sign changes, how many are there? Okay, 1, 2, and 3. So totally there are 3 sign changes. So 3 poles are lying on the right hand side of the S plane. Okay. Okay, this is a bit tricky. See here what is given, they want the value of k for -1 plus j2 to lie on the root locus. See, in order to lie on the root locus, your open loop magnitude must be equal to 1. This you will study in the Nyquist plot, why it is equal to 1. Why it should be taken as 1. In the Nyquist plot, I'll explain why it should be equal to 1. So here if they are asking the value of k, that is gain, for which your root, that is -1 plus j2, lie on the root locus. What you need to do, instead of s, you need to put the value as -1 plus j2. Wherever s is there, you need to put the value as -1 plus j2. Okay, like this. Magnitude condition. Okay, and one more thing. How will take magnitude of this 2j plus 3? How you will take? See, this is a complex. They are given -1 plus 2j. When you substitute, you will be getting like this. See, for s plus 4, if I substitute, I'll be getting -1 plus j2 plus 4, right? So when I solve, I'll be getting 3 plus 2j. Okay, 3 plus 2j. How will you take magnitude of this? Anyone?
Square root of 3 square plus 2 square.
Okay, so square root of 2 square plus 3 square. So it will be 9 plus 4, that is root 13, right? So next, like this, you need to find, I need to take the value of k. So is it done? Any doubts in the gate problem? I hope first problem is thorough.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so first problem is clear. Second problem, any doubts here? See, oscillations, whenever the word comes in control system, you should conclude that it is marginally stable. Okay, marginally stable system. As you have seen, when in the RH criteria, when 0, 0, 0 was coming, we are choosing previous values for your auxiliary equation, right? Equation will be used for finding the oscillations. What is the value? Okay, this will, if you solve more gate problems, you will understand the link between each parameter. Okay. Whenever breakaway point comes, dk by ds will be equal to 0, right? So if they ask the value gain k, right? So you need to, okay, and they are asking, so you need to find the value of s here, and this value should be substituted here, and you need to find the value of k, right? See, only two methods. Okay, only one major method is come. You need to find dk by ds equal to 0. You need to equate and find the value of s, and then you need to find the magnitude by magnitude of g of s must be equal to 1. Okay, when we are solving the problem of Nyquist problem, then you will understand why it is chosen as 1. See, the finish a topic, okay, especially in the gate level. How much I can do, I am doing. Got it? So, see, if you spend another 2 to 3 hours for the gate for this topic, then you will be fully thorough with respect to root locus. Okay, so I hope it is clear now. So, last question of the day. Can you solve and tell me? This is fill in the blanks. It was asked in the GATE 2015, set 3. Okay, so fill in the blanks. In the GATE level, there is no negative mark. There is no negative mark for this. If for the system, what is given? S is equal to minus 2.5 lies on the root locus. Okay, lies on the root locus. If this word comes and they are asking for gain k, what is the first thing you need to do? You need to find and you need to equate the magnitude equal to 1. So no need to find the breakaway point because it's directly given S value. Okay. So you need to take directly k. You have to find the value of k. I'll give you 2 minutes. Solve and tell me what is the value of k.
So 11.
Not 11. There is, you see here it's not unity loop. Okay, it has a value of 10. So h of s is not equal to 1 here. H of s is equal to 10.
Oh yes, so calculation mistake. 1 minute.
Okay, so g of s into h of s you need to do. Okay, previous cases it was unity loop. Okay, so here you need to do g of s into h of s. Modulus must be equal to 1. There should be put the value as minus 2.75. Uday, Tushar.
So can it be negative?
No, it is mod. No, how it can be negative? Mod is there, na?
Is
Here.
it 1 by 9?
Not 1 by 9. Why it is so much tough? What is your g of h? It will be s plus 3. Correct? S plus 2 divided by s plus 2 into k into 10. Right?
Okay, sorry, sir. I copied the question wrong. S plus 3 I took in the denominator.
See, if you do like this, whole marks will be gone.
Sir, is it 3 by 11?
No, not 3 by 11. I can put directly, na? See, it is pretty easy. I can do orally. See, when I put s is equal to minus 2.5, minus 2.5 plus 3, I'll be getting answer as 0.25 here. Correct? Into k into 10 divided by. When I put in the denominator minus 2.75 plus 2, I'll be getting minus 0.75, right? Is equal to 1. So this 25 ones are 25 threes are. So since this is mod, so this minus will become plus, right? So k into 10 divided by 3. K into 10 divided by 3 is equal to 1. What will be the value of k? 3 by, how you got 11? 0.3. How you got 11?
I did some mistakes, sir.
Okay, so you should be careful. So the answer is 3 by 10, that is 0.3. Got it? Now is it clear? So if you want, you can see once the solution. If I made it dirty, you can see one solution. With this, you can solve using g of s, h of s, mod must be equal to 1. See, in previous class, why I didn't write h of s? Because all were unity feedback loop. So I didn't write h of s. But here, h of s is equal to 10. Got it? So we'll be getting answer as 0.3. Okay, so this is the end. Okay, any doubts in any part of the today's class? Any doubts? I'll take 2 more minutes and finish the class. Someone asked the question, no, why it should be breakaway point is not at the center. Okay, that was very good question. See, if you want to be stable system, it won't be exactly at center. Yeah, all the poles and zeros must match. There are many conditions for the breakaway point to be in between the two poles. Okay, anyone else has Ashwini?
No, sir. No questions.
No question. Nishal?
No, sir.
Okay, next Tushar. Tushar, Uday, and Vismaya. Any doubts?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So, the next class, I'll be taking about the polar plot. Okay, so polar plot also gives us stability, relative stability. Okay, see, I have told about relative stability here, right? Can anyone just tell me how the relative stability plays a role here? Why not absolute stability? See, it was RH criteria, means I was telling that it should be k must be greater than 0, k must be greater than 10, or k must be less than 10, or k equal to 10. Right? Now here I can clearly tell that if k is more than 10, okay, what is happening? It is the root locus directly pushing to right hand side of S plane. But here you can't see. Here it was just can tell that assumption that k was greater than 0, it should be value should be greater than 0, so it will be a stable system. How? See, the root locus, when it is greater than 0, the root locus will try to push itself to right hand side, so your system will move on the right hand side and it will become unstable. You can clearly see in the pictorial. Okay, so in the next class I'll be teaching the polar plot. So yeah, you might have done 8 marks VTO question and all, right? So here you can solve in 2 steps. Okay, whole polar plot, all the graphs you can solve in 2 to 3 steps. All the 8 marks, 10 marks question you can solve in within 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so I hope if you have any doubts, you can ask me either personally you can text me, or you can put in the group. I'll by the next week I'll try to put all the materials with respect to GATE. Okay, fine. So have a good night. Enjoy.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.